Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the biggest shindig of the summer. It's Summerfest. I'm your host, Silver Spoon, joined as always by the captain in command. It's Captain Tibbs.
Welcome, everybody. The drinks are on me.
That's right, Tibbs, and we are in for a night of some absolutely amazing action, beginning with this match, the extraordinary Okay.
That's my boy, the rising sun, but mostly Hammerman. Yeah, tag team champions tonight, baby. Tag team champions.
That's right, Tibbs. This match, of course, for the JWF Tag Team Championships. It is the first ever extraordinary Quaternary, a match created by our tag team champions themselves, the War Wizards. It is an elimination style match where not just one member of your team, but both members have to be eliminated before you're out of the match. And let me tell you something, I think all of these teams are definitely in the running to possibly become champion tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely, Sills. Hammerman.
Oh, and Tibbs, one team who I think may be the most ominous figures looming over this match are these men. The team of Titan, the team of the Bone Crusher, two of the most devastating individuals to ever step into a JWF ring. They are the Blockbusters.
Exactly, Sills, and tonight we're gonna see what the Blockbusters can do against some of the best in this division we've got today.
That's right. I mean, you gotta think the team we just saw, the Rising Suns, #1 in our power rankings. We, of course, have the War Wizards, our champions. These men, who I believe are #3, #2 in the power rankings. It's been a while since I checked. But I think the wild card's coming up right after these two men. But Tibbs, I gotta know, the Blockbusters, they have had 2 shots already at those JWF Tag Team Championships. Do you honestly think that these men were maybe just stealing this spot from a team that may have deserved it more?
I don't know, Sills. When it comes down to it, they're still pretty high up in the power rankings. No one has managed to topple them that are under them at this point. So the numbers say that they need to be in the match.
That is right, Tibbs, and you gotta think the history between these men and the War Wizards is long and it is storied. I mean, the Blockbusters themselves took the former manager of the War Wizards, Lawrence Whitney, became their clients. And Lawrence Whitney has almost used these two men almost as his own tools, his own means to an end to try to get revenge on his former clients. And that revenge may be coming tonight because think about this match. It's elimination style. That means that all hell's gonna break loose. These men can do whatever they want in this ring. They can cause chaos, and that's exactly where they do their best work.
There's going to be a lot of hell going on in this ring, and the Blockbusters might be able to capitalize on it. I mean, as long as they don't get a hammer to the face, am I right?
That's right, Tibbs, but you can see they're perching the Titan, staring ominously at the audience, and we got to think, the Titan, he's not only proven himself as a tag team wrestler, also as a singles competitor. A couple of months back, he nearly took the Captain's Championship from, of course, our champion, the Dylan.
That's very true, Sills. It was a very hard-fought match, but then again, the rest of the Blockbusters, they all tried to gang up on the Dylan. It was a hard-fought match. He was saved by the War Wizard's timely arrival.
That's right, Tibbs, but as I was speaking earlier, there are 3 teams here. A champion, 2 that are on the power rankings, but then there are these men. The returning team, the wild cards of this match, the team of Coach James and David Honey Mustard Jenkins.
Look at him go, Sills.
That's right. I mean, you gotta remember, these men have not been seen for years in the JWF. Of course, we know at WrestlePalooza 2, they went on to face the BS for their tag team championships, but outside of that, Coach and Friend have not been seen yet. They've made a few appearances and a couple of battle royals, but outside of that, this team has not been seen in this ring competing for a title in a long time, and you know they're going to want to prove themselves tonight.
That's right, Sills. The long returning, the prodigal sons may be returning tonight.
That is right, Tibbs. But these are three teams. Let's be honest. The War Wizards, these men coming out to the ring, our JWF Tag Team Champions, they said they wanted the odds stacked against them tonight, and I think they got exactly what they wanted, but I don't think it's what they need.
Well, so honestly, when you're in that position, when you're the top dog, you gotta continue to challenge yourself if you really want to call yourself champions, and that. Well, so it's not a really worthwhile championship run if you're not always putting yourself in that danger zone. If you're not really seeing who's the best of the best in the division. And that's really what the War Wizards wanted to do. They've been running roughshod over everybody since WrestlePalooza, and they've been wanting a good challenge, a real challenge.
That is right, Tibbs, and you gotta think both of these men have been seasoned competitors for a long time. We thought this was almost the War Wizard was the star of the group, but at Cash in the Bag, Jeramis proved that he was the best of the bunch, and Tibbs, unfortunately, looks like he's going after the Hammerman, who went for that hammer boot, but Jeramis wisely keeps avoiding it.
That's true, Silva. Only time will tell. It's just a matter of time before the Hammerman just finally gets you in his corner and hits you with the Justice Hammer. The Rising Hammer, the Hammer's son, the son of the Hammer, the Hammering too. Hammered.
That's right, Tibbs. And meanwhile, you can see the War Wizard going after Bone Crusher. And you gotta think there's still some fury behind the eyes of the War Wizard when it comes to the Bone Crusher. We, of course, remember a couple of months back, the Blockbusters assaulting the War Wizard's Bone Crusher, even breaking the fingers of Jeramis in our ring steps. You gotta think the War Wizards still have a vendetta. But I gotta ask you, do you think that's gonna be a bad plan tonight? There are six other men in that ring who want that title. I don't think it's time for you to focus on your grudges.
No, Sills, that would be a really, I would say, ineffective planning, because it leaves you open from so many other sides. However, if the Blockbusters themselves are targeting the War Wizard, that puts them between a rock and a hard place.
That's right. Look, meanwhile, old Honey Mustard Jenkins has the Hammerman on the top rope. We were worried if there might be a little bit of ring rust, but it looks like Honey Mustard's getting ready to deliver that zest, that spicy fire, as he hits him with the superplex.
As they say, that good old Dijon.
That is right, Tibbs. And meanwhile, you can see FOMO-san once again going after the Bone Crusher. On the outside, Titan and Jeramis going after one another. Oh, but wait a minute. Jeramis, look at this. Look at the strength of the Titan just doing squats with Jeramis in that suplex position.
He just dropped him down like it was nothing. That is the power of the Titan. You gotta watch out. He is so strong that he can take almost anybody in the roster today and lift them up like they're nothing.
That's right, and of course I would like to remind everybody out there in the audience, if you want to know the backstory on all these matches, if you want to know what led the Rising Suns to this dance, if you want to know the history of the War Wizards, make sure to check out JWF Monday Night Ignition. You can get on Spotify, iTunes, wherever your fine podcasts are sold. Ooh, Hammerman with a bulldog as Jeramis goes after Coach James and just wrenches back on the arm, and that is a wise move. I mean, let's be honest, old Coach James, he's a man we like to call top heavy. A man that likes to skip leg day, as it were. And I think if you get rid of those arms, he's going to be useless.
Yeah, Sills, you're going to need somebody to go for the knees if it's a competitor like Coach James. He does have a lot of power up top, but if you take down those legs, he's not going to be able to capitalize off of it anyway.
That's right, and let me tell you something. The man who seems to be in the most danger right now has got to be FOMO-san. Everyone else is in the ring but the Hammerman. He's on the outside, and we know the Hammerman has saved FOMO-san from more than one scrape.
Absolutely, Sills. I mean, these two, they started off as adversaries, but they've become a hell of a tag team. I'm honestly amazed every time they show just how great of a team they are, how in sync they can be in most matches.
That's right. I mean, bringing out one of the most devastating tag team maneuvers we've seen in a very long time. Oh my God, David Jenkins with that beautiful drop kick soaring across the ring. But as I was stating, the Rising Suns, of course, with that sunset finishing move, a combination of course, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Honey Mustard Jenkins has just eliminated Bone Crusher off of that drop kick.
What?
It looks like Honey Mustard Jenkins is back, and he wants to prove himself, as I stated, and he began by taking out one of the biggest dogs in this match. He took out the Bone Crusher as FOMO-san with that big kick on Coach James.
I mean, Sills, I know we can have a lot of surprises and upsets in a match like this, but that was not one I saw coming.
That's right. Meanwhile, oh, wait a minute. Look at this. Jeremis has him. Oh, wrenching on the neck of the Hammerman with the legs. Beautiful leg scissor there from Jeremis, but Hammerman takes him down. But now you can see Honey Mustard Jenkins just trying to find some sort of assault technique. But meanwhile, Hammerman looks like he is set up for the, went for the drop kick, but instead Jenkins comes down, taking him out.
It looks like he avoided that drop kick, only to have Honey Mustard just come down right behind him.
That's right. Meanwhile, FOMO-san looks to have Coach James in his sights. Beautiful senton there from the Rising Sun. 1, 2, kick out, but look right there. Hammerman was perched, but James gets out of the way.
And see, Sills, this is what the War Wizards wanted. They wanted some absolute chaos. They wanted to have a war of their own. Just a complete pitch battle that you would only see in the likes of a AAA blockbuster movie of the summer.
That's right. You see Coach James getting pinned by FOMO-san after a senton, and Coach James has been eliminated. We now have two teams who are only down to one member. Coach and Friend now only has the Friend, only has old Honey Mustard Jenkins, and of course we know the Titan is working alone there for the Blockbusters.
That's right. This is one of those moments where if you are one of those teams with full complements, the two teams that have both members, that might be where you want to try to team up together, try to make a temporary alliance. Say, we're not going to mess with your team. We're going to focus on taking these guys out. They're the weaker links. And then that increases your chances of actually winning by a huge factor.
That's right, but instead you can see the Hammerman going after old Jeremis, but Jeremis clotheslines him over the top for his troubles. And on the outside, you see Jeremis and Hammerman in the ring. FOMO with that beautiful Falcon arrow onto Honey Mustard, and Honey Mustard in a bad place, Tibbs. Could we see it? No! Honey Mustard coming back, showing some vicious there, is the man known as David Jenkins.
That's right. That's why you never need to underestimate the Honey Mustard, Sills. Sometimes it complements a dish perfectly, but other times it's just fine on its own.
Oh, but wait a minute. Oh, Hammerman! Look at that. He had Honey Mustard set up for the hammer leg drop, but instead, Jeremis takes him down. 1. Kick out, but instead Titan has the War Wizard, but Jeremis wisely breaking it up. He definitely doesn't want to become one of those teams running under a handicap.
And Sills, we weren't focusing on it earlier, but Titan...
Beautiful move there. Wait, 2, 3. Titan has just taken out Jeremis. Titan has taken out Jeremis. There's only one complete team left, and it is the Hammerman and FOMO-san, but the War Wizard looked to be setting up for Avada Kedavra, but instead, Titan gets in his way.
And Titan has been focusing on War Wizard for so long in this match, he has had him at a disadvantage for minutes now, and that is not a good place to be.
That's right. Beautiful suplex. Meanwhile, Titan might be getting set up for it, Tibbs. The War Wizard has him prepped for one of the most dangerous moves here in JWF, Avada Kedavra, straight to the collarbone. Could we see it? The first full elimination. 1, 2, 3. And the War Wizard, just like that, has eliminated the Blockbusters. Hammerman, 2. Was trying to take out coach and friend. But at this point, I think if I'm Honey Mustard, I think if I'm the War Wizard, I'd be teaming up. I'd be trying to take out the Rising Suns right now because they are the only full team left.
That is it, Sills. That is the coin is now flipped. Now the team's at a disadvantage.
Oh, but
Need
look
to
at
work
this.
to go,
Both
dear.
men up. Hammer leg drop. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. And coach and friend have been eliminated, and now there is one man left standing between the Hammer Suns and the JWF tag titles. No!
What?
Hammerman!
Oh my God.
Hammerman was going for the hammer leg drop, but instead got thrown into FOMO, taking him out in the War Wizard. That is exactly the opportunity he needed.
The War Wizard's been at such a disadvantage now, but he got that elimination on the Titan, but he's still in a bad way. He still needs to pull out all the stops. Oh.
Beautiful drop kick, spin kick combo there. And unfortunately, things may seem to be all over here for the War Wizard as the Hammerman, gets out of the hammer leg drop. And unfortunately, Tibbs, I know he's your boy, but the Hammerman has been caught. And the Hammerman's getting picked up for Avada Kedavra. Let's see that one more time. That brutal move. The War Wizard, he's working at a handicap, but that may be the turning point he needs. Crawls into that pin. Shibata going for the count. 1. Instead, FOMO stops him. Wait a minute. Rising Sun. 2, 3.
Oh, Sills. Oh, you know what that means, brother.
And ladies and gentlemen, it was a clean sweep tonight at Summerfest as FOMO-san and the Hammerman outlasted every single competitor working together. I mean, they said before this match they were coming into tonight thinking about family, thinking about their brother Griffin Clouds in that match later tonight. And it is that type of family, that type of union, that type of blood that can lead to a man becoming champion like these men are new JWF Tag Team Champion.
Raise your hammer to the sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following event is scheduled for one clusterfuck and is set to occur in Birmingham, Alabama. Introducing first, he is the bearded man from the Badlands, the absolute Badlands, Scottye Moore. And in the other corner, sporting the modest plaid on plaid on plaid, the man with the plaid crown. The plaid is plaid on the plaid. The man who knows nothing about wrestling and everything about plaid. Blake Tanner.
I'm sorry, was I supposed to do something there? I thought this was just you two.
Oh,
No, that's Dylan. Hey, Dylan.
And we are the Fight Boys, and it's a show about professional and not so professional wrestling. Make sure to check us out, because when you're a fight boy, you're a fight boy for life. All right, now Tibbs, here in the JWF, we are known for brutality, but we're known for two separate types. There's, of course, the car crash type, where multiple men get in, cause chaos. That was the last match. This match is instead going to be brutal. It is going to be sadistic. It is going to be maniacal as we witness the JWF debut of this man, the Nightmare, the son of Mara himself, Gozzie.
Gozzie has been wreaking havoc over the past few weeks. He, of course, debuted here in the JWF viciously attacking Scottye Moore in the middle of one of the Dillon's Captain's Championship Open challenges. He utterly decimated Scottye with a chain for reasons we only recently found out about.
That's right. I mean, and you say decimated. That's a word that gets overused in wrestling, I think. But in this case, I think it applies. He was choking the life out of Scottye Moore with that steel chain. I think he wanted to kill him on that night. Because, of course, Gozzie has since announced that he is the poison who is coming to the JWF to destroy it so it can be remade. He says that he is the apocalypse bringer for the JWF. And I think Scottye Moore, if anything, he claims one thing, and that's that he is the hero of the JWF. And I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather see facing Gozzie tonight.
Yeah, if there's somebody who wanted to become the villain of the JWF, then... well, Gozzie found a way to do it.
That's right, Tibbs, but here he comes. A former JWF champion, a former JWF tag team champion. I mean, let's think about it. Scottye Moore has done just about everything there is to do in this business. He's won the Regal Rumble. He's won the Cash in the Bag match. He's won, like I said, championship after championship. And let's be honest, I think Gozzie might have made a wrong decision going after this man for this match.
You might be right, Silves. We barely seen what Gozzie can do with his complete attitude change as of late, ever since he left JXT. We are not sure what kind of man he's become, but it's gonna be hard to prove yourself against such a proven warrior like Scottye Moore.
That's right, and you gotta think, you said we haven't seen everything Gozzie's willing to do, but we may tonight, because this match is no DQ. Steel chairs, ladders, tables, it's all in play tonight. And normally you'd say that works to someone's disadvantage, but we've seen both of these men go to war in these kind of matches, and I think it'll apply. I mean, let's just think about last month. Cash in the Bag, a brutal 2 out of 3, no DQ match. Scottye Moore taking on the JWF champion, Chuck Tibbs. And I mean, at the end of that match, brutality happened, but meanwhile, it looks like Gozzie, coming at him with those elbows.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Gozzie wants to try to make a statement against Scottye Moore, and honestly, the way to do it, you've got to keep Scottye down. You got to keep him from using his high-impact, out-of-nowhere moves like the SMG, like the Scottye kick. You've got to watch out for just how quickly Scottye Moore can turn a match around.
That's right, but Gozzie perched up. Unfortunately went for that splash. Scottye Moore just walking out of the way, and that might be the one problem I'm gonna say Scottye Moore has coming into this match. I mean, we know Scottye Moore, of course, is the head of JXT, our developmental territory. For a long time, you could say he was technically Gozzie's boss. So you could say Scottye is definitely underestimating the Nightmare tonight, who climbs to the top rope and could be looking for that big splash once again. Oh no! Hits him with the Gauze Bomb before getting those steel steps, and now Gozzie is ready. He is in his playhouse and ready to cause carnage.
Yep, you gotta wonder, Sills. Scottye Moore usually excels in these types of matches, but this seems to be somewhere where Gozzie himself may have an advantage.
You can see Gozzie just driving the point of that steel step into the skull of Scottye Moore. And let me tell you something, that's I hate to say it, a wise move, a brutal move. Going with the corner of a steel step, that can fracture some bones. That can hurt someone's skull. But Scottye hits him with that reverse SMG from out of nowhere. Like you said, that's the danger of Scottye Moore. He can pull anything out very quickly.
That's right. If you want to change the very tide of a match, he's the one to do it for you. But he's got the wild card that is Gozzie to contend with. It's going to be interesting to see how much they can just reverse it on each other.
That's right, but Scottye goes for that high-impact superplex, but you can see, it looks like the hero of the JWF struggling to get back to his feet immediately, but hits it, SMG, as he does, looking to end it early, 1, 2, Gozzie kicks out at 2, and you can see the look of shock growing on the face of Scottye Moore.
That in Scottye Moore's mind, that was all he needed to defeat Gozzie. I think Gozzie might be surprising Scottye Moore at this point.
That's right, but I think even then, we've seen Scottye get surprised and then come back with victories. But who knows, maybe Gozzie can, throw him off his game. Beautiful arm drag before just wailing on him with those punches and sending Scottye Moore to the earth. And I don't know, Gozzie might be looking for that Goz bomb maneuver one more time. Crawls up to the top rope. He has got Scottye Moore prone, but before he can do anything, Scottye Moore up, but Gozzie once again misses that diving splash and eats a big boot for his trouble.
This is what you gotta watch out for. Gozzie might not know exactly what he's in for in the case like this. If he wants to bring the brutality can be brung.
That's right. Meanwhile, Scottye climbing up to the top rope, known for that high offense elbow drop, but Gozzie gets out of the way, picks him up. And could we see it? Could we see it? He's got him. Bloody Eagle in the center of the ring, quite appropriately bloodying Scottye Moore. 1, 2, kick out from Scottye, and you can see Gozzie now getting that frustration, getting that fury. And I gotta know, do you think if that fury takes over, Scottye Moore might be able to get an advantage?
I don't know, Sills. It might be the opposite. It depends on how used he is to harnessing his own fury. If he lets it get the better of him, if he does like that, Sills, if he stops watching his back, then that fury could turn against him in a bad way.
That's right, hits a drop kick to Scottye, and now he is taking apart one of our announce tables, getting ready to turn this match into an absolute car crash. But Scottye Moore instead returns the favor, picking up Gozzie, and oh my God, just driving that forearm straight into the skull. And I think Scottye may be thinking he's trying to return the favor. He got bloodied. He's trying to see Gozzie's blood now. Gozzie went for that Bloody Eagle one more time, but instead, Scottye Moore reverses. Might have been trying to go for a Bloody Eagle of his own. Both of these men, beautiful move, takes him down. And at this point, Gozzie has him wrapped up. He has that arm locked. What is he thinking with that? Oh my God! Let's see that one more time, just snapping the arm of Scottye Moore. And Tibbs, that could dislocate a shoulder. That could break your funny bone. That could absolutely destroy you. Gozzie going for the pin. 1, 2. Kick out from Scottye Moore, but you can see that he was favoring that arm. There may be an injury to it, might be broken. And at that point, I think Scottye Moore may be a one-armed man in a punching contest.
That's right, Sills. I don't know at this point. These two they're going blow for blow with each other, which is, honestly, I'm not sure if that's what I expected. I knew that there was going to be a lot of anger. There's going to be a lot of rage in here. But to see both of these men dive down into a more dark place to just try to punish the other, this is a different style of wrestling.
That's right. You see Gozzie, he was mounting a big comeback. Might have been setting up for that big Bloody Ego, but instead Scottye Moore reverses it, just seems to be driving Gozzie into that corner. No, what is Scottye Moore thinking here? He has got Gozzie on the top rope, and I think, look at him getting that injured arm wrapped around the head, and oh my God! Driving him through our announce table. Scottye Moore has snapped, but you gotta think that has just exacerbated the injury to that arm.
That's right. It was a high risk situation, Sills. It was a big risk to take for Scottye Moore, but who knows? It might have paid off, but I don't know if it looks like it is right now.
But wait a minute. He's got him wrapped up. Might have been going for the SMG. Gozzie reverse it, gets flapjacked onto the ropes for his troubles. And Scottye Moore backed up, maybe trying for that patented elbow drop once again, just diving straight into the heart of the Nightmare before backing up into the corner. What in the world is Scottye Moore thinking here?
I don't know, Sills. He looks like he's ready.
SMG! And like I said, he wanted to see Gozzie's blood. He's got him bloody, but look at this. The Nightmare getting up immediately. The Night Terror. I think seeing his own blood might have affected him, but not in the negative way that Scottye was expecting. Oh, Scottye kick.
And that was a running SMG too, Sills. Those things are a lot higher impact.
Oh, but he's following it up with seconds. Let's see that one more time. And at this point, you got to think Scotty Moore's wondering what's it going to take to pull Gozzie down. Could it be this? 1, 2. Oh, kick out from Gozzie, and the frustration is growing, Tibbs.
Sills, it's taken a lot to even keep Gozzie down at this point. It seems like Gozzie has some kind of ethereal fury, like he is digging down to a place that no normal human should be able to dig to get out of some of Scotty Moore's most devastating moves.
That's right, goes for the Scottye kick, but Gozzie reverses it, hits a beautiful forearm smash, but see, this is that veteran knowledge of Scotty Moore. Oh, rolled to the outside, but instead Gozzie, it almost seemed like he was acting off of instinct, jumped up to the top rope, fell down, and now look at this, both of these men down, barely able to move. The brutality of this match is palpable.
Absolutely, Sills. They are just laying into each other. And I mean, you gotta wonder, maybe Gozzie is getting into Scotty Moore's head a little bit with just his rampant furiousness. Damn it. It's just a lot.
Hit that elbow drop once again, and it looks like Gozzie may be seeking that bloody eagle maneuver, maybe trying to take him down, and he does, sending him into the mat. And at that point, I mean, you could see Scotty Moore, the blood from his head pooling underneath him. But wait a minute, no, Gozzie. Gozzie has the arm. Gozzie's got that arm. Oh my God, snapping it once again. And if there was not an injury before, Tibbs, there is now, just wrenching back on it. And you can see the pain shooting through Scotty Moore's body. 1, 2, 3.
Silva, I was not expecting that. Gozzie he might have just separated Scotty Moore's shoulder. And that was vicious.
That's right, an absolutely brutal match between these two men. But I mean, this is just showing the type of vicious animal Gozzie is. He's got that bloody eagle maneuver that just drives your head into the mat. But he knew that wouldn't be enough for Scotty Moore. That wouldn't be enough to take him out. Instead, opted to grab that injured arm, break it once again, and what in the world's Gozzie thinking now?
Oh no, Gozzie, don't do this. You've already won. You've already made your point. Come on, don't do this.
Hey, look at that. You saw him just stomp on that injured arm of Scotty Moore before ramming him, straight into the ring post. Something has snapped in the head of Gozzie. I don't think he just wanted to beat Scotty Moore tonight. I think he wanted to end his entire damn career.
Oh, it's certainly looking that way, Sills. Oh, his shoulder, though, Scotty Moore's shoulder has suffered significant damage. Anything that Gozzie does now is just going to exacerbate that. He could make it so it can take months or even years.
Tibbs, no, he's got him. Oh, God, snaps that arm once again. And Gozzie may have just ended the career of the hero of the JWF. What's up, everybody? It's everyone's favorite commentator, Silver Spoon, here to remind you that if you're enjoying the show, if you're enjoying this great JWF pay-per-view, maybe consider giving back over at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. That's right, for the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can support us, the Fight Boys, a load of BS. The entire network can benefit from just a few dollars a month from you. In addition, you get exclusive content like Wrestling History X from the Fight Boys. You get to check out old episodes of JWF. They're all waiting for you over there on patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. All right, Tibbs, we move on from one grudge match to another, one that has been absolutely months in the making, as this man, Hollywood Hulcher, finally seeks to find some retribution against this man, Danny Roanoke, just nails him with that kendo stick before going after Hulcher. Danny has snapped. I mean, let's not forget Danny Roanoke. He's been breaking into our production truck, hacking into episodes of JWF, Ignition, interfering with Hollywood Hulcher's matches. Danny Roanoke has sought to try to destroy the career of Hollywood Hulcher.
And the fact that he's been targeting Hulcher through all of this, Danny Roanoke, he has no respect for the rules. He has no respect for the decorum of professional wrestling. He's just in it for himself. And it's sickening to see that he would go through such lengths to try to pull one over on Hollywood Hulcher.
That's right. I mean, we have to say a long time ago, we had hired Danny to be one of our trainers down in JXT, down in our developmental territory. But it always comes down to sometimes those old timers, those veterans of this business, they develop a kind of grit, a kind of anger towards the younger talent. And I gotta say, that's gotta be what's coming between Danny and Hollywood right now. And you can see both. Wait, what's happening to the? They're backstage. What the hell?
Sills. We're doing the TV show thing now. We're teleporting again. I promise we'd stop doing
wait
this,
a minute,
but it looks like they
Hollywood Hills! But he is not opting to finish him off. Instead, Hollywood Hulcher wants to cause more punishment, pulling out that steel chair. But Danny wisely rolling out of the way. Beautiful head scissor takedown there.
And Sills, this match has no limits. These two can go wherever the hell they want. Oh.
That's right, falls count anywhere in this match tonight. And you gotta think Danny Roanoke has been seeking this. Danny Roanoke has been seeking to put some punishment on Hollywood Hulcher. He says that he's not earned his spot. I mean, we've talked in the past ad infinitum about Hollywood Hulcher. We know that a long time ago, he was scheduled to come up to, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, dumps trash on him and, punches him in the skull. We know Hollywood was scheduled to come up with the Fight Boys. Of course, the team of Blake Tanner, Scottye Moore, and the Dylan, scheduled to come up with them a couple of years ago, and then Hollywood opted out of it. Hollywood said that he didn't want any part of wrestling, left it, but then of course, you always have your one true love, opted to come back, and apparently that was not enough for Danny Roanoke.
No, Sills, it is almost seeing, some say that Danny Roanoke's
wait a minute, he's got him up, Black Mirror, straight through that table, and look, might have been going for the pin, but instead, both of these men, neither of them want a pinfall yet. I mean, I think at this point, they think a pinfall wouldn't allow them to get that kind of vengeance they want. But you can see Danny Roanoke going to the back. He may be going to our production truck. Seems like the man's hacking into the show already.
I don't know, Sills. It looks like he's already got things planned. He set up an ambush for Hollywood Hulcher.
That's right. Oh my God, but Hulcher comes back. I mean, you can see Danny, the veteran, had that smart move, waited around the corner before jumping down with that vicious double axe handle. But Hollywood, you can't stop the viciousness, Tibbs.
No, Sills, Hollywood Hulcher, he has so much to fight for in this match. He has months worth of anger, seething rage. He has comeuppance to deliver to Danny Roanoke. Years worth even.
That's right, but you saw Danny with that vicious kick to the skull, leveling Hollywood, going for a pinfall. 1, 2. Ooh, barely. Last minute. I mean, Shibata's hand was an inch from the concrete back there, and you gotta think that's also adding to the viciousness. These men aren't getting slammed down onto mats, aren't getting slammed down onto the ring. They're getting slammed down onto concrete as Hollywood is picked up. Second Black Mirror. But it looks like Danny's not done. It looks like Danny wants a second Black Mirror. He wants to almost destroy him.
I don't know, Sills. This is the vengeance of Danny Roanoke. This is the fight of generation versus generation. Roanoke, he just wants control and power. And the only way that he ever felt power was just utterly putting the boots to younger generations like Hollywood Hulcher.
That's right. I mean, in the professional wrestling business for a very long time, it was known like your trainer would stretch you, your trainer would torture you. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, went for the Black Mirror, but reverses into a DDT as Hollywood Hulcher. But as I was saying, your trainer is supposed to put you through hell, to prepare you for the world of professional wrestling. But there are different kinds of men with that attitude. There are some men who know it's to make you better, and then there are some men like Danny Roanoke who just use it to take out a vendetta, and Hollywood Hulcher just punched him right in the vendetta, it looks like.
What's a good old low blow when it's between enemies?
All right, Hollywood Hulcher picking up Danny Roanoke. And let me put it this way. Danny's looking a little injured now. I think that DDT straight down onto that concrete might have been causing a bit more punishment. I think that might have leveled Danny. And I think at this point, he knows he's got to do something big, beautiful chop before sets him up. But once again, reverses into a DDT.
Now that could just take his neck completely out. And Silv, it looks like... Oh, no.
That's right. He's been coming in hot, but instead... Wait, what the hell? Tibbs, what's happening? Tibbs, what's going on? Tibbs?
What?
What the hell? Danny Roanoke is hacking reality itself at this point. Oh my God! Just running him over with that production box. And Danny Roanoke, now at this point, it's his game. It's Danny Roanoke's world, and Hollywood Hulcher is just living in it, Tibbs.
So it seems that Danny Roanoke has found a dark power that no man should ever hold, and that is the ability to alter the strings of fate. That is the ability to turn a bad situation into a good one. Hollywood Hulcher is fighting against reality itself at this point.
That's right. Tibbs, quick question. I know I always bring it up during these backstage brawls, but I understand you got a good deal on our production truck back there, but you couldn't repaint it.
Do you know how expensive it is to do that, Stills? Look, none of those guys matter anymore. It's fine.
I mean, I gotta agree with you, Tibbs, but I mean, like, still, that's a problem for us. That is a marketing nightmare in the back there.
You know what? Just ask fucking Roanoke to blur it out, because it looks like he could do it if he wanted to.
Oh, he did? Okay, all right, okay, now it's too much. Now his powers are getting out of control.
He could hear us from all the way over here, so that is...
Wait a minute!
Oh.
Skyliner! Beautiful Skyliner there! But wait a minute, Danny picks him up, and it looks like that Skyliner unblurred the truck for the editing team later. Oh, wait a minute, he's up! Black Mirror! Straight to the skull! But he's not done! Danny Roanoke wants to end the career of Hollywood Hulcher. He wants to send him back to Hollywood as he takes him over to that box and just drops him straight on it. Goes for the pinfall. 1, 2. Oh, kick out! A kick out from Hulcher. He ain't done!
Hulcher's not done. Hulcher is fighting against the whims of reality and fate. And it looks like his own fighting spirit is enough to...
Sends that production box once again into him. But, I mean, Hollywood Hulcher knows he might not be able to control what happens around him. But he can control himself, and he can kick out. And he wants to finish it right here. Hollywood Hills goes for the pinfall. 1, 2. Kick out from Danny Roanoke.
Sills, this is a big problem right now for Hulcher. Hulcher is fighting against the world, but Hulcher, he can still do it. But he's got to hit so much offense in just a short amount of time to take Danny Roanoke out completely and keep him from using whatever source of eldritch abomination he has found to alter our own reality.
That's right. You can see him. He was going after Hulcher. Might have been trying to send him through the window of that limousine. What is Hollywood Hulcher thinking? He is standing on top of that production truck. The place where this all started. The place where Danny Roanoke started all of this. And it looks like
they're going up.
It looks like Danny's coming up to meet him. He is truly, well and truly in Roanoke's domain right now. On top of that production truck. Wait a minute. No. He's trying to... Oh, Hollywood blocks him. Hollywood blocks him and tries to... What the...
No, Hollywood was throwing him off. He was throwing him off the truck, Sills.
No!
What?
Hulcher was about to finish things. Hulcher had him down. But wait a minute. Danny Roanoke, his bat gave way. Before he could land that fourth black mirror. And instead, Hollywood catches him. Beautiful Hollywood Hills. And Tibbs, let me tell you something. He's working against reality itself, but he's got Danny Roanoke, the man, rocked. He has got him bloodied. He's got him bleeding. What is he thinking? What's he... Oh my God!
Medium.
Tibbs, I don't know what we just saw.
I don't either, Sills. What?
I don't... But now it looks like that we are on our way. Wait, we're in the Royal Rumble arena now. What the hell did Danny Roanoke do?
Sills, I don't know if it was what Danny Roanoke did. I think it's what Hollywood Hulcher did when he rammed Danny Roanoke into that electrical box. He zapped Danny Roanoke with so much power that all of reality has been completely altered. I have a mimosa in my hand.
Oh, that's a tease that I don't want to pay off, but here is, of course, apparently our first entrant into the Developmental Rumble, a man who last night claimed the JXT Tag Team Championships alongside his partner, Korloff the Unstoppable. It's Zeus Hellman, and you know he's come in with a lot of momentum here.
Oh, absolutely, Sills. This is, of course, our chance to show off some of our JXT talent, some of the up-and-comers, some of the rising stars in the territory.
Oh, Tibbs! If there was one man Zeus Hellman did not want to see come through that curtain, it's this man right here.
Sills, I don't see a man, I see a dragon.
He is the Dragonborn himself, Falcor the Unstoppable, coming down to the ring, and you know he has got a vendetta against Zeus Hellman. I mean, those two men were the longest reigning tag team champions in JXT history, and then Zeus Hellman threw it all away like it was nothing.
It was a long storied friendship. This man right here, one of the most entertaining faces in all of JXT. Everybody loves him, but he was so ruthlessly just abandoned by his former friend, his former tag team partner, Zeus Hellman.
And it looks like beautiful code red to start it out. Falcor is taking no prisoners. And let's not forget what this match is for. It's not just for these men to... Well, that is some quick vengeance.
Booyah, baby!
That's some quick vengeance from Falcor right there. And he has just made sure that Zeus Hellman is not coming to the JWF roster. But unfortunately, he's now about to have to face an even bigger challenge in Korloff the Ultimate.
Of course, Sills, Korloff, of course. As we know, an alternate reality version of Falcor himself. We talk about it. JXT has had some reality alterations, some time stoppage, some time traveling in its own right, and these two are the result.
That's right. And now I will say, as I stated, this match, of course, to determine who's going to get a contract, who's going to debut here in JWF. I mean, I hate to say this, I'm getting news in our headphones. Scottye Moore was unfortunately, he was supposed to join us on commentary for this match. This match was his baby. Like we said earlier, he runs JXT, and he said that his boys needed an opportunity on the biggest stage of them all. But unfortunately, I've been notified that Scottye Moore has been taken to a local medical facility to get that arm checked on. And Tibbs, they're saying it don't look good.
No, Sills, I could see it from here, the damage that was done. He couldn't even lift his arm as he was trying to stand up. The trainers were telling him not to try to move it at all, but it looked like it was a terrible, terrible injury.
That's right. Now you can see Falkor going after Korolev. And you got to think Falkor is also seeking some vengeance against Korolev. We know that Korolev was definitely part of the reason why Zeus ended up turning on him, ended up dissolving the team known as the Gods on Parade. Oh, but here comes a man who has no alliances, a man who just wants to win this match. He is the Jebba, Duck, but Korolev does not care.
No, sir. Korolev is an utter unstoppable machine in his own right. The Jebeduk, who of course we know, we love, we've seen him in JWF a few times. He's come a couple of times to show his stuff. He's probably one of the most well-known JXT superstars out there. He's been a gatekeeper for a long time, but even against the massive someone like Korolev, it's a lot. It is a large hurdle to overcome trying to fight that mechanized dragon.
That's right, but you also got to think there is some business here in JWF for Jebeduk. Last time he fought in a JWF ring was last year at JWF Crossing the Line. Of course, we know he faced off in an iron... Wait a minute. Oh! Falkor taking out Korolev, and now it comes down to who I would argue two of the biggest fan favorites in JXT history, Falkor and the Jebeduk. But as I was stating, last time, of course, buy Jebeduk's shirt, merch.aloadofpurebs.com. He made me put that in there. But last time Jeb was here, he faced off against one of the biggest names in JWF history. He faced off against Mamoa Curry in an Iron Man match, and that went to a draw. You gotta think that's still been itching in Jeb's head.
Of course, Sills. That when you are able to fight someone like Mamoa Curry to a time limit draw, that is. Sills, who is this?
Well, Tibbs, we've had some of the classics of JWF. I like to call them the classics: Zeus Hellman, Falkor, Jebeduk. This is a guy that, I'll be honest, I made sure I got in this match. He's one of my personal favorites. His name's Shitty Terry. Whoa! Holy shit!
Has been eliminated by Falkor.
Falkor has been on an elimination streak. He has eliminated every man who's come into this ring. We've seen Falkor in the past be dominant in Rumble-type matches. I mean, earlier this year, JXT Rumble in the Jungle, Falkor entered in at number 1, but started the match much like he did tonight. He went damn near all the way throughout that entire match, eliminating competitor after competitor. If there's one man in JXT who's a master of a Rumble, it's Falkor.
Of course, Sills. Now, his name is Shitty Terry.
Yes.
Shitty Terry.
Yes. He's great.
But his name is Shitty Terry. Sills, I think we need to have a talk after this.
Let me put it this way. I know the name's something to laugh at. It's a fun goof. But at the end of the day, Shitty Terry has one of the longest undefeated streaks in JXT history. Shitty Terry has been dominant, showing it off with this beautiful fist drop as another JWF or JXT classic comes out to the ring. The man known as Papa Bliss. And Tibbs, I think this man, earlier I was talking about that Rumble match Falkor dominated in. Let's not forget who won it. It was Papa Bliss. But Shitty Terry don't care. Shitty Terry don't care. He's taking them all on.
You'll have to say so. Shitty Terry is not living up to his name. He seems to be quite a competitor. Hold on, let me zoom in on his eyes over there. Oh, he's coked to hell and back, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely, Tibbs. He calls it his special powder. And it looks like it's allowing him to hit the shitstorm on Papa Bliss. We may be seeing early upset if Shitty Terry manages to get him out of the ring.
That might be true, Sills. Of course, Papa Bliss, though, also known as one of the most wholesome men in wrestling today. He is a kind and caring person outside the ring, but inside it, he is a vicious competitor. Did you see that dragon kick?
Beautiful dragon kick from Falcor, is trying to back Shitty Terry up to the ropes, and now I honestly, at this point, I'm of course a fan of JXT. I feel bad for the people at home having to watch this, having to pick their favorite, having to pick who they want to win, because it's been nothing but all-stars throughout this entire match. We, of course, chose the top 10 in the Falcor!
Falcor was eliminated. Oh, Sills.
But as I said, we picked the top 10 in the JXT Power Rankings, the best of the best, of course, including this man, the king of the hill himself, Robert Hill. And Shitty Terry backs up, and Shitty Terry takes out Papa Bliss, but look at Robert Hill.
Oh, we thought he was going to take out Shitty Terry. Look at that mountain of a man.
That's right. You can see Robert Hill. He has been in training. And at the end of the day, a lot of these men, they've been fighting. Last night, they were all fighting at Boyz of Summer, at the JXT pay-per-view. A lot of them are exhausted, and I think that's the one advantage Robert has. Robert did not fight last night.
No, and he looks like he has been training to just become an absolute monster in the JWF. This could be what he wants.
Wait.
No!
Went for the shitstorm, but Robert drops down. Beautiful reverse DDT. All right, but wait a minute. Shitty Terry. Oh! Went for the clothesline, but Robert Hill wisely ducked underneath, and Robert says, it's all over. This is his ring, and I gotta say, I'm not gonna be the man to argue with him.
Absolutely not, Sills. Robert Hill, who has the longest undefeated streak in JXT history. He went for months without ever being pinned or submitted, fighting almost every week.
That's right. That's a big B, Tibbs. It is. It is, of course, a former JXT Tag Team Champion. His name is Beezus, and he's a big, hairy bee that's getting taken down by Robert Hill.
That is XX Lord Beezus, thank you, announcer man.
Beezus apparently decided to talk smack during the match instead of focusing on it. And let me tell you something, that may give Robert Hill the advantage he needs. Beautiful back body drop.
If we know anything about old Beezus the Big B, he is all about the ego. I mean, he looks like he can back most of it up because he is just he's a really beefy dude. He's a beefy bee.
And it looks like he is trying to show off that beef now, wrenching on the neck of Robert Hill before sending him straight down to the mat. And still wrenching on it. I think Beezus at this point is just doing whatever he can to take Robert down.
So we have a dragon, a mechanical dragon, a guy named Shit, and a giant bee and shit. That's what JXT is doing nowadays, huh?
Scottye Moore has a vision. Many may not agree with it, but it certainly seems to be working as the demon monster himself, Croc, comes out to the ring as Beezus gets immediately eliminated. Oh, but wait a minute. He's setting him up. Beautiful DDT from Robert Hill to Croc. And that is the move that secured him so many victories in his long reigning undefeated streak. And look at this, Croc still going. Croc still trying to be dominant even after taking that vicious DDT. This is just showing the power of that beast.
And Sills, it would be interesting. Wait. Never mind. That's it. Croc's been eliminated.
Robert Hill has been unstoppable in this match. I don't know who could take him.
I don't know,
Oh, Tibbs. If there's one man in JXT Robert's been waiting to get his hands on, it's this man. It's this man, the BS champion of JXT himself, Chuck Gibbons, beautiful crucifix bomb to take out Robert, but Robert comes back with that beautiful clothesline.
Yeah, Chuck Gibbons, of course, known for his old school wrestling style, his Olympic undertones of his wrestling. He is a very athletic man, and he's got a very unorthodox strategy compared to most wrestlers today. He might be able to outfox just about anyone in the ring, but I don't know how well it's gonna work against Bobby Hill.
Look at the strength, though. Nearly just tossed him out of the ring. But let's not forget, not only is Chuck the BS champion, he also has their official Mr. Worldwide briefcase. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought he might have been trying to kick him off the top rope like he did to Croc. But like I said, Chuck Gibbons may be their first double champion. Who knows? The man is dominant.
That's right, Sills. I mean, Gibbons has had a whirlwind. What? Oh, Sills! We got a contract to give out, and it's Bobby fucking Hill!
That is right, Tibbs! And you gotta think, Robert, I think he came in expecting more of a fight. I think Robert came in expecting some viciousness, but he just kept avoiding those clotheslines. I'll be honest, Robert, the people in that match eliminated themselves. They were afraid of having to deal with this man, the king of the hill, Robert Hill.
This summer, 2 men saved the world. From who, you ask? Everything invading robo penises.
This show is not about those 2 men. This show's just a load of BS. The show where Blake Tanner and Scottye Moore make up dumbass movies like that. We're your personal think tank. We're your 2 white guys, which fills the quota for a podcast, I think.
And we're just gonna be here to have a good time and talk about sauerkraut.
That's right, except no substitutes, ladies and gentlemen, because this is that pure, uncut BS.
Good, uncut.
Well, Tibbs, it looks like whatever happened, whatever weird hex Hollywood Hulcher has placed on us during that match earlier tonight has been fixed. Because we're back at the Summerfest arena, and we are just in time to see this man issue his final open challenge. And Tibbs, I gotta say, this is all on you. At the end of the day, Dylan said that if you didn't find a worthy challenger, the next person he was gonna put in the Anaconda Vice is gonna be you. So, what do you think? Have you found him someone worthwhile?
Well, Sills, first of all, I would like to say I wouldn't want to be the first one to break out of the Anaconda Vice. So I did decide to find Dylan a worthy challenger, just to feed that streak, or to defeat it. Because at the end of the day, I think that Dylan may have had a wake-up call fighting Scottye Moore a little while ago, a few weeks ago, but now I think he needs a real wake-up, if you know what I'm saying.
That is right, Tibbs. There he is, the technical spectacle, the Lord of the smart side, and everybody wants to know who's answering his final open challenge. Oh, Tibbs. This is a man who we have not seen in a very, very long time. This is a man who has been dominant in the past, one of the longest reigning JWF champions of all time. It is the man known as Blake Tanner, and you know that Dylan and Blake have some history.
Absolutely, Sills. Of course, earlier this year, the Dylan sidelined Blake Tanner for months, viciously beating him earlier this year. And since then, Blake Tanner, he's been a different kind of man. He's been a different kind of competitor. But on the one hand, I thought he would be a perfect kind of challenger for this new Dylan, to put both of their styles against each other and to see if Blake Tanner is ready to reclaim one of his spots as the BS champion, something that he held and he valued for a long time.
That's right. I'm sorry, the Captain's Championship. I know we're still in JXT mind a little bit. Yeah, of course, we do remember the Captain's Championship. Blake Tanner won it, becoming our only Triple Crown champion. He's held the JWF Tag titles, the JWF Championship, and then, of course, that Captain's Championship that's right around the waist of the Dylan. But I feel I would be remiss, Tibbs, if I did not mention the fact that Blake Tanner has also not won a single match this year in the JWF.
That's right, Sills. And that was a judgment call on my part. I will say, Blake Tanner, he hasn't even shown up on any of the power rankings. He's barely even been around. He hasn't had a worthy challenge to put on a pay-per-view. He hasn't been in the right mind space. And that was my call, and that was what I decided. But now I think it's time to see what all of these months of stewing has gotten for Blake Tanner.
That's right. I mean, we know Blake Tanner is a man who usually thrives when he has gold around his waist. I mean, at the end of the day, this entire year, he's not had a title match per se, and he's never really fought like he's been going for a title. It's almost seemed like he's been going through the motions, and it looks like this opportunity to go for the gold has definitely reinvigorated the man known as the Bee, who picks him up, Bee Sting! And that might be all he needs. 1, 2, ooh, kick out from the Dylan. But we know Blake Tanner has certainly got more than that in his arsenal.
And Sills, this is going to be a good challenge for the Dylan as well. We are going to see how his technical style will stack up against fighting someone who is just as unhinged as Blake Tanner has been recently.
That's right. You see, Dylan was trying to go for that D trigger, that patented running knee. Blake stopped him before he could connect with it, which was a wise move in my opinion. Oh, but wait a minute. Blake has him set up. He's got him primed. Blake out. Straight into the mat. Goes for the pinfall. 1, 2. Oh, barely kicking out is the Dylan. And you can see Blake getting very frustrated. Earlier this year, we know Blake Tanner, as you stated, defeated by the Dylan, who was, let's be honest, very vicious in that match. Actually crushed Blake Tanner's head between his boot and the ring post. Dylan would not relent during that match, but I think that Blake's bringing the Fieri now.
That's right, Sills. When I told him he was going to be the one, he was going to be the challenger tonight, I called him up into my office. I told him, that's your spot. He just looked at me for a good 5 seconds. He didn't say a single thing. He stood up, he said good, and he left. And that's all I heard.
Seconds. Goes for the pinfall. 1, 2. Oh, kicking out once again is the Dylan, but at the end of the day, you gotta think Dylan has seen worse through this Captain's title reign. He has had to face Kazuchika Damn Okada. As we stated earlier, he's faced beasts like the Titan. Dylan has gone through so much in this reign that, I'll be honest, 2 Blakeouts, that take down a normal competitor, but the Dylan is not a normal competitor. He has become a force of nature in this company. But Blake seeking to end it with another Blakeout. Could we see a Bee Sting? Could we see a third Blakeout, though? Instead, sends him into the ropes. Interesting move from the Dylan.
And you gotta wonder what's going through the Dylan's mind right now. The Dylan hasn't had a good opportunity to put in his patented offense, but it's not like he's needed a lot of it over the past few months with this open challenge for the Captain's Championship. All he needs is the perfect opportunity to get his opponent in that Anaconda Vice, and usually it's over.
That's right. Ooh, went for that fist drop, but Blake Tanner once again rolling out of the way, and I gotta ask you this. The Dylan in recent months, we've also seen switch to a more technical style. The style that the Dylan used to use, the style that's won him the JWF Championship in the past. It was a lot more brutal. It was a lot more breakneck. Do you think moving towards this technical style instead is actually kind of hindering him?
That might be possible, Sills.
Blake Tanner just tapped out the Dylan on the outside of the ring, but I gotta know, do you think that was more a defensive move than anything else from the Dylan? I mean, as you can see, it's paid off wonderfully. Hits that drop kick.
I don't know, Stills. Blake Tanner might have thought this could have been a Falls Count Anywhere. I'm not sure, but it looks like he put the paint on. But then again, maybe Blake Tanner just wanted to make Dylan to tap out just for the satisfaction of it.
That's right, but that almost seems like I'll just... Wait a minute! Vice! He's got him in the vice! The most dangerous finishing move in JWF history, the Anaconda Vice! But wait a minute, look at this, Dylan getting rolled over. And let me tell you something, I think Blake might be a little bit dazed. The Blake of old, we know he would have held on. He would have held on for that pin, tried to get it, but instead's opted to just cause more punishment.
You know what, Sills? Another thing that I've just thought of, Blake Tanner, also for a long time known for his more technical style. The fact that he was always thinking, strategizing in the ring, and that might be working to Dylan's disadvantage more in some of these situations because Blake Tanner knows what to expect out of a technical wrestler, even though the Dylan is one of the best in the world right now.
That's right, went for that pin once again, but Dylan kicks out. Yeah, in all honesty, this almost seems like a complete and total swap of what we've seen in the past. Blake Tanner versus the Dylan, you'd expect a technician versus a brawler, but you'd expect that brawler to be the Dylan, you'd expect the technician to be Blake, and the roles have been reversed tonight with that beautiful clothesline from the D.
And who knows what we could see resulting from this. We might be able to see who is just the better pure wrestler. Oh, or maybe just which style might be the best in a championship match.
That's right, and you can see that Dylan was going for that big drop kick. Blake just sent him to the earth. Oh, but instead gets sent into the ring for his troubles. And this is the thing. This is the problem I'm seeing with Blake Tanner. He's hitting smash mouth high offense moves. But the Dylan seems to be shaking them off after just a few seconds. I don't think that these big moves are gonna work. Wait a minute! He's trapped him in the vice on the outside. Little anything you can do, I can do better, and he has Blake Tanner tapping. If this was a 2 out of 3 falls match, these two men would be damn even.
That's right, Sills, but of course this match has to end in the ring. Whatever these guys do out there, it is icing on top of the cake, but you cannot eat it until you're in the ring.
That's right, and you see him dropping Blake onto that guardrail before hitting that beautiful knee, and then, went for the elbow drop. But, Tibbs, let's be honest, if there's anybody you don't want to go for an elbow drop on, it's one of the two men that made up the BS, one of our longest reigning tag team champions. Those two men were known for their big elbow drops. They know how to reverse them, and it's given Blake the advantage.
Of course, Sills, and this, of course, it could be a real moment for any of the original members of the Fight Boyz in JWF. Both Scottye Moore and Blake Tanner now have challenged.
Wait, goes for the pinfall, 1, 2, ooh, kicks out is the Dylan, and you saw the look of fury on Blake's face as he just backs up for a second. He is trying to destroy the Dylan once again. 2, kicks out.
It's out. Sills, it's like the Blake out doesn't have the same impact as before. It's like Blake Tanner isn't able to focus the power of his moves correctly to take out the Dylan. The Dylan has become too resilient.
That's right, you see that blood pooling in his eyes. That may be also interfering with things. He went for the Blake out instead. Dylan might have been going for that big D trigger, but instead, beautiful suplex. 1, 2, kicks out at the last minute. Yeah, you gotta think Dylan's kind of run the gauntlet. Back in JXT, he was part of the Fight Boyz, which we, of course, here know to be Blake Tanner, Scottye Moore, and the Dylan. There was another man in there, and it was, of course, Hollywood Hulcher, and he's faced all three, and he's beat him, but it looks like he's going to try to beat Blake Tanner now. He's got him in the vice, and Blake Tanner is forced to tap after that brutal match between those two men. And Tibbs, let me tell you something. Dylan wanted a contender. He wanted a fight, and I think Blake Tanner brought it to him tonight.
It was a good fight, Sills, but that means at this moment, it seems like the reigning, defending, not only Captain's Champion, but Fight Boy is none other than the Dylan.
That is right, Tibbs, and you gotta think Dylan feels proud to hold that title, but I gotta know what's next. Now that this open challenge concept is over for the Dylan, do you think he rides off into the sunset? Do you think he just leaves with the damn Captain's Championship? What's next for him?
I don't know, Sills. Dylan said he wanted a challenge, and if that wasn't satisfying enough, I don't know what else we can give him in the JWF unless
Wait,
something...
what the hell? What the... It's Gozzie!
Gozzie!
The man who broke the arm of Scottye Moore earlier tonight has come out. He's got that Captain's Championship, and he just bashes Dylan over the skull with it. And Tibbs, I don't know if Dylan knew what he was going to be doing next, but I think Gozzie just gave him an answer.
The year was 1969. The U.S. was in a race to the moon against the USSR. What they didn't expect, however, was to find their real enemies not waiting in Russia, but instead on the very moon they were aiming for. 50 years later, and our world is still at siege from enemies beyond our stars. And that's where the Space Marines come into play, and let me tell you something, I'm one of the best. The name's Dane Armstrong, the world's greatest Space Marine, and the man who's come to save your asses.
Not really. Join the BS Network as they head straight into the stars for Deviant, an audio drama featuring action, adventure, space piracy, and karaoke? Hop aboard and fly with us into the stars every other Sunday on this Deviant.
All right, Tibbs, it's now on to one of our most anticipated matches of the night. One of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious tournament in JWF history, the King of the Steel City Tournament. The finals are tonight, and I'll be honest, I think this man has an advantage coming in. Guy Fieri, a two-time winner of this tournament, and a man who has seemed focused on getting that crown back over the past couple of weeks.
That's right, Sills. After his loss to Mamoa Curry, it seems that Guy Fieri has been wanting to try to regain that spot that he had, that place. He wanted to find some familiar territory and show everybody that he's just as good as he ever was. And I'll tell you, Sills, Guy Fieri has never been better than ever before than when he was king of the Steel City.
That is right, Tibbs, winning it 2 years in a row. Then, of course, the next year being won by the Hammerman, the brother of the man who will be facing Guy Fieri tonight. They call him the Vape Master General, Griffin Clouds. And Tibbs, I'll be honest with you, I'm worried about Griffin, because at the end of the day, Guy Fieri, he pinned his opponent in his 2 qualifying matches. He pinned a Hollywood Hulcher to the mat. Of course, Danny Roanoke giving a little bit of assistance there. He pinned Funky Flossie to the mat. Griffin won his semi-final match basically through forfeit, through his brother, the Hammerman, choosing to enter that match earlier tonight, choosing to enter the extraordinary Quaternary, which of course seemed to be paying off for him pretty well, but Griffin didn't really prove himself. He doesn't really have the momentum that Guy Fieri does carrying himself into this match.
That's right, Sills, but Griffin Clouds, he has shown himself recently to be a more mature Griffin Clouds than when he was last even close to holding World Championship gold. And it looks like Griffin Clouds is finally ready to try to take that mantle again.
That's right, Tibbs, and now you can see both men locking up in the center of the ring, and Griffin wisely taking over. I think at this point, this opening may benefit Griffin more than it's definitely going to benefit Guy Fieri. We know Guy Fieri to be a bit of a brawler, whereas Griffin definitely has that technical prowess. This may be where Griffin gets the advantage.
Right, Sills, of course, one of his greatest feuds, Mastermind versus Mastermind, Griffin Clouds versus Blake Tanner for the the JWF World Heavyweight Championship those few years ago. It was a blockbuster barn burner every time, and if Griffin Clouds has only honed that Mastermind instinct even more, then he may be able to just completely run circles around Guy Fieri.
That's right. You see him climbing to that top rope looking for some high-risk offense, and oh my God, it pays off. And let me tell you something, that was a smart move. He waited for Guy to get up on all fours. That way it wasn't a single impact. It was the elbow to the back and then sending him straight to the earth. That could break a spine, sever a vertebrae, who knows? And he follows it up with a second backbreaker into a neckbreaker. Griffin Clouds is definitely starting this off on fire. And I mean, you brought it up. But I will say, that is the one advantage I will give Griffin over Guy Fieri. Griffin is a former JWF champion. I mean, 3 years ago, actually winning the JWF championship at this very pay-per-view at Summerfest.
That's right, Sil. I believe, if I remember correctly, he cashed in to win that championship.
That's right, cashing in that cash in the bag briefcase, which is, of course, the same way that our current champion, Chuck Tibbs, earned the title. The former champion, Scottye Moore, cashed in to earn the title. And, of course, we know Chuck is going to be fighting in our main event against Mamoa Curry in what Mamoa has demanded to be a non-title match. And, Tibbs, let me tell you something. I don't know if your son's going to be able to hold up to the god of the JWF.
I don't know, Sills. We'll have to see in the future. I know that Chuck has been training. He's been working his ass off, but he seems to be a little in over his head, more so than I thought he would be. I think his overconfidence might get to him, but back to this match, going back to Griffin Clouds, Guy Fieri.
Whoa, what the hell? Griffin! Under vapor out of nowhere, picks him up, threw him in the air, goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out from Fieri.
But there it is, Griffin Clouds showing that he can dish it out just as good as he can take it. He has really proven that he can just get under the skin of Guy Fieri, just take out anything that he can, that Fieri can dish out, move out of the way, and hit with his own offense.
You can see him flipping over. Might have been going for that figure 4 leg lock, but instead Guy just plucks him out of midair before dropping him with that backbreaker. And now, I mean, you gotta say, Griffin is definitely seasoned. I mean, the man's probably, earlier we talked about Blake Tanner, longest reigning JWF Tag Team Champion. If you want to talk about the most reigns, that belongs to Griffin Clouds. That belongs to the VWO. Men who had a banner year last year were Tag Team of the Year. But ever since then, they just haven't seemed to be getting 2020 under their belt properly.
Oh, of course, Sills. 2020 has been an off year for many old favorites. It's been an off year for the world, some might say. But it was, for the VWO, it seems that they have been overshadowed, outclassed by many of our current tag teams because they...
But Griffin proves that he is not outclassed in this match. Oh my God. Soaring through the air, diving senton straight onto Fieri. Griffin Clouds is bringing a fire we have not seen in him since he debuted in this company.
Oh, of course, Sills. This might be the fire that not only brings Griffin Clouds back into championship contention, it might spur the rest of his family. It might spur even his adopted family in Formosan to go. It did spur it, Sills. They won the tag team championships tonight. As a matter of fact, that may have spurred Griffin on more than anything else.
That's right. I mean, these men have definitely been trying to seek to earn some gold tonight. Big shot to the back from Griffin. And it looks like he's trying to get it back in the ring. He can hear Shibata at a count of, I believe, 5 right now. But Guy fighting back. And let me tell you something. I think Guy Fieri, he's the kind of guy who would not be afraid to win by countout. He wouldn't be afraid to take this crown through countout. I mean, at the end of the day, let's think about that match against Hollywood Hulcher. Danny Roanoke beat the living hell out of him, and Guy demanded the referee start the count. And it wasn't until Hollywood Hulcher managed to crawl in the ring that Guy Fieri forced himself to fight.
That's right, Sills. These tactics of Guy Fieri, it is shown that he's willing to go to any length to claim this victory.
That's right, including picking up Griffin in a power bomb position and just dropping him. It looks like his neck made contact with that guardrail on the way down, and that cannot feel good for the leader of the VWO. And see, Tibbs, this is what I was worried about. Guy Fieri, he's a big guy. You don't usually expect a big guy to be able to go for a long match, but Guy Fieri certainly can go, and it seems like he's almost outlasted Griffin. You can see Griffin, not even being able to do those punches, but Guy with that big right hand takes him out. That's the move that, of course, won him his spot here in the finals, and oh my God, just spears him through the barricade. Oh my God.
Oh, look at that. That is the tactics. That is what Guy Fieri wants. He can just hurt you in any way. He's using everything that he can to claim the title of King of the Steel City once more.
What the hell is Guy Fieri thinking too? Oh my God, elbow drop straight to the ground before sending him into that into the metal ring steps. Something is snapped in Guy Fieri. At this point, Tibbs, I think this match has now just become a cat and mouse situation. Guy Fieri playing with his food before claiming that crowd, but Griffin gets the knees up.
Oh, that's right, Sills. Griffin Clouds, he's not going to let this go easily. He wants to show the world.
Definitely not with that under vapor, that beautiful maneuver. Let's see it one more time. Sending Guy Fieri skull first into the mat, crawls into a pin. 1, 2, kick out.
Oh, Sills, that's 2 under vapors now that Guy Fieri is kicked out of.
That's right. I mean, it's been a big move in Griffin's arsenal in that past, that under vapor. But you gotta also think the size of Guy Fieri. Griffin is not gonna be that kind of big man. He's not gonna be able to handle a big man properly to deliver that move. It is a very finessed move. Goes for a pin. Ooh, Griffin kicks out. And I think Guy Fieri's size may be working to his advantage there.
Oh, that's right, Sills. It's going to take a lot more punishment to put down someone like Guy Fieri. And if Griffin Clouds can't muster himself, he can't rally himself to inflict that kind of damage, then he's not going to be able to defeat Guy Fieri.
Look at that! Look at that! He went for that big knockout punch, but Griffin's got him in the figure 4. Griffin's got him in the figure 4, and he's trying to make the King of Flavortown tap.
Oh, Sills, what kind of victory? It would be a great victory, but no. Looks like Guy Fieri's rolling it over.
That's right, reversing the pain, sending it onto the knees of Griffin Clouds, and you gotta think that's gonna affect that under vapor. That is gonna affect it. If that knee gives out, I mean, it's gonna be all over.
That's right, Sills, and it looks like it might be.
Boom! Knockout punch, but he is not done. He's not done. He's got him up and just parading around the ring. Food fight!
Oh, Sills. I don't know. This might be it for Griffin Clouds. He put up a valiant fight, but that is a 1-2 combo.
Goes for the pinfall. Goes for it. 1, 2, 3. What? Griffin Clouds just kicked out of the food fight. Griffin Clouds is still here. Griffin Clouds is still fighting. And no, Guy comes back with a kick to the gut. And now both of these men, now it's just becoming an absolute brawl.
It is a complete, just hellish beatdown, one on the other. They have both put everything they've got into putting their opponent down. And now they're just furiously trying whatever works.
And wait a minute. Was going for the knockout punch, but instead, look at this. Guy going to the top rope. Guy going for a big, was trying to do a knockout punch from the top, I think. But instead, Griffin stopped him at the pass. Griffin avoided it, and let me tell you something. I think he may have just saved the match for him right there.
That might be it, Sills. Griffin Clouds has a complete opportunity here. He has the opportunity to do something big, do something momentous, and defeat Guy Fieri.
Oh, but Guy gets out of the way, and now once again targeting the knee. Once again, preventing Griffin from getting him up for that under vapor one more time, and I think that's a wise move. I think he has seen the type of viciousness that he can do, and well, look at that. He actually knocked down Scottye, and it almost looked like something was going through the head of Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri, like I said earlier, Sills, he's willing to use whatever tactics he can think of to try to secure a victory.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Griffin with the food fight of his own goes for the pin, but no. Guy grabs the ropes before he can take advantage.
Oh, of course, Sills. That was more a bit of an insult, of course, using your own opponent to the finisher against you, but...
Oh no, Tibbs, we saw this earlier with Scottye Moore and Gozzie, but there's no table to break a fall here. There's just concrete, and oh my God! Sends Griffin straight down onto it. Guy Fieri, I think he's through playing games.
That's right, Sills. Griffin Cloud's ankle smashed right onto that barricade. It was not pretty.
That's right, but look at this. Griffin actually coming back. I was going to say that this was no longer a game of cat and mouse. It's a game of panther and gazelle, but I think Griffin's trying to prove that he's the panther tonight.
It certainly looks like it, Sills. I mean, Griffin Clouds has been on the hunt for most of this match.
That's right, and you can see Guy got him on the top rope, could be going for a second superplex. And let me tell you something, I don't know if Griffin's going to be able to survive a second high-impact maneuver like that. Oh, but instead, look at that, flapjacks him down. And Guy Fieri, I think he's just praying that damage to the knee pays off. I think he's just praying that, oh, look at this, uses the weight to reverse it into an under vapor of his own. And that's what I was talking about earlier. That weight advantage of Guy Fieri is certainly going to help secure him a victory, especially because he has got Griffin up on the shoulders. But Griffin with elbows to the skull. It looks like Guy Fieri is bloodied. I think he might have got bloodied off that DDT on the outside.
That might have been it, Sills. He looks like he's fighting through it, but... oh, I think we're in the end game here. Look, Guy Fieri can barely stand up. Griffin Clouds, he looks like he's still able to fight. He's still able to do that damage he might need to do.
That's right, but you also got to consider this. Everything Guy Fieri's getting thrown at him, he's surviving. It's almost similar to the Dylan and Blake Tanner earlier tonight. Look at this, reverses that big tombstone once again, this time opting to go for the pinfall. 1, 2, oh, kicks out. But I think he's got a food fight. I think he's got something ready. But no! I don't know. Tibbs, at this point, if I was Griffin Clouds, I would swap. I would try to do something else. We've seen him have success in the past with big moves, but instead just gets picked up for his troubles and sent in. And, oh, what is Guy Fieri thinking at this point? I don't know if Griffin's going to be able to survive another one. I don't know. Oh, not big blow to the stomach.
Yep.
And
Griffin
it's all over.
Trying to go for that axe handle, but he got caught by Fieri. Got caught by Fieri.
Food fight! Let's see that one more time. It is all over but the hurting for Griffin Clouds as Fieri falls into the pin. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry?
Griffin Clouds kicked out, but Sills, that was the weakest kick out I've seen in a long time. What?
Guy Fieri just took out Scottye. Guy Fieri just took out our referee, and Guy Fieri's getting a steel chair. Like I said, he's through playing games. Guy Fieri's ready to end this, but no! Griffin fights out! Griffin fights out! Neck breaker! Griffin in a neck breaker!
Get him, Clouds, get him!
Tibbs, I don't know if this is the wisest move, but he's got him up! He's got him up! Under vapor! Onto a steel chair! Griffin Clouds has just dropped Guy Fieri onto that steel chair! Guy Fieri signed his own death warrant, bringing that into the ring! 1, 2, 3!
Sills, He did it!
The king is dead! Long live Griffin Clouds!
Oh, Sills, this is a banner night for the Cloud Clan. Look at this.
That is right, Tibbs, and you gotta think somewhere Justin and Clint, their brother, their father, they are watching happily. I mean, a couple of days ago, Griffin Cloud said that Summerfest, things were gonna change for the VWO, and he just proved it. Because the king of the Steel City, the crown, is staying with the Clouds family.
That is right, Sills. Hey, JWF true believers, Captain Tibbs here for merch.alodapurebs.com. That's right, merch.alodapurebs.com. That is where you can buy all of our great merchandise from the JWF universe. Do you want t-shirts? Do you want more t-shirts? T-shirts with my face on it, with the faces of all the JWF superstars, our great wrestlers, anything. We got t-shirts, more t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, baseball hats, masks. You can even get a phone case. You can get a phone case with my face on it. You can get a phone case with the Jebeduk's face on it from JXD. You can get anything you want. Whatever your heart desires. Merch.alodapurebs.com. Powered by T-Public.
Well, Tibbs, we now move on to the main event of the evening, and it is gonna be an absolute barnstormer of a match as this man, Mamoa Curry, seeks to find our champion proving himself. A couple of weeks ago, Chuck Tibbs was real proud of his performance at Cash in the Bag, had an amazing interview, but then Mamoa came out and he just said one simple sentence. You have proven yourself to them, but you have not proven yourself to me. And ever since, Chuck Tibbs has seemed like he's on a warpath to prove himself to this man. Because I'll be honest with you, Tibbs, you can win all the matches in the world, but if this man don't approve of you, you ain't a real champion.
No, Sills, Mamoa Curry, he is a gatekeeper in many ways in the JWF. His approval and his respect is almost as valuable, some say just as valuable, as the championship gold around your waist. If Mamoa Curry don't respect you, then ain't nobody respect you.
That is right, Tibbs, and you gotta think, if anybody knows what it takes to be a champion, it's this man. It is the longest reigning champion in JWF history, Mamoa Curry. Of course, we know earlier this year, his reign ended at WrestlePalooza at the hands of Scottye Moore, something that's been irking in the back of the head of Mamoa Curry ever since. It almost sent him into an identity crisis, unsure of who he was supposed to be in this company. But of course, thanks to Guy Fieri, he learned exactly who he was, the god of the JWF, the one who stands above all others, and the one who makes you prove yourself.
That's right, Sills, and we will see if his opponent, none other than the JWF World Heavyweight Championship champion himself, my son, Chuck Tibbs, is able to earn that from Mamoa Curry tonight. This is a non-title match. I can't stress that enough. This is just Mamoa Curry wanting to see what Chuck Tibbs will do when only his honor is on the line.
That is right. I mean, Mamoa was bringing up multiple times the way Chuck Tibbs has won his championship matches. Of course, using that vicious Trinity Bomb, one of the most devastating maneuver in JWF history. A move that has literally sent people to hell. Using that maneuver to defeat Scottye Moore, nearly ending his career. And then, of course, we all remember Cash in the Bag. Scottye Moore wasn't going down. He was not tapping out. It wasn't until Chuck Tibbs, blood covering his face, climbed to the top of a ladder and collided with Scottye on the way down that he was able to secure the victory. Mamoa said that Chuck doesn't want to wrestle these matches. He's trying to escape with that title, with that victory, by any means necessary.
And hey, we might see some of that tonight, Sills. It looks like Mamoa Curry is pulling no punches. He has started out very strong.
That is right. I mean, At the end of the day, he wants Chuck to prove himself. He wants to align Chuck with the pantheon of the gods. But if Chuck is absolutely going to have to fight for his life tonight to prove himself.
Of course, Sills. Then Mamoa Curry, I've told Chuck this multiple times. He is no joke. Once he is wrestling you, it doesn't matter if you're his best friend or you're his worst enemy. He will fight you just the same. I told him you need to expect that same fire, that same drive, that same pain that he brought when he was fighting the Leviathan last year. You need to expect that because you look at it, Sills. That's all that Mamoa Curry is bringing to Chuck right now.
That's right, Mamoa Curry telling Chuck that it is okay to have passion for wrestling. It's okay to have emotions in this sport, but if those emotions overwhelm you, if you fight like this is your last fight in this company, one day it will be. And I think if Chuck tries to fight like this tonight, Mamoa Curry could very well end his career.
That's right, Sills. Mamoa Curry, like I said, he is not out there for fun. He is out there to fight, and he is out there to throw everything he is against Chuck right now.
That's right. You see Chuck sending him into that ring post. Chuck trying his best to try to get an advantage, to cause some damage to Mamoa Curry. But at the end of the day, Chuck is going back to his old tactics. Chuck is trying to cause pain, cause punishment, keep the man down. He's not trying to out-wrestle Mamoa Curry.
No, he's not. And as you see it right now, it is working to Chuck's detriment. He is barely able to get anything past Mamoa Curry. And
But that might right there went for the fisherman's spear, but Chuck instead gets the knees up. But look at that, Chuck was unable to capitalize. I don't think Chuck even realized what he had done.
Yeah, Sills, I don't know. It looks like Chuck is...
Captain's hook! He's got him in the captain's hook in the center of the ring, and Mamoa Curry is way away from the ropes. But just as quickly as he got it in, Mamoa Curry gets out of it before, eating a beautiful jumping clothesline.
Sills, if I say there's anybody that knows the captain's hook just as well as I do, it is Mamoa Curry. He has been in it more times than I can probably count. And Sills, honestly, I don't think that's the move that's going to impress Mamoa Curry tonight. Mamoa is all about originality. And I love the captain's hook. It's my move, but that ain't impressing him.
And he's backing up. Maybe trying to end it early. Fisherman spear crawls into a pin. 1, 2, kick out from Chuck. And Tibbs, I'll be honest with you, I think I gotta disagree. Mamoa wants Chuck to prove himself as a wrestler. He wants to prove himself in that ring. And I think the captain's hook is the pinnacle of wrestling prowess. I mean, not to toot your own horn, but it's one of the best moves in the division. It proves yourself as a wrestler if you can lock it in properly. Instead, Chuck, DD Tibbs, lays him out.
Well, that is true, Sills, and you are absolutely right.
1, 2, Mamoa kicking out at 2.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Sills. The captain's hook is the greatest submission ever created, and someone who does it properly will get a tap out 100% of the time, every time. But who knows if that is what Chuck is going to be able to do? Because Sills, well, he is my son, and I love him dearly. That's just not his style. Honestly, if he's playing to his strengths, he's got to pull something out that is both his own, something that is nothing but Chuck Tibbs, and also something that can bring down Mamoa Curry. This is the time for innovation.
That's right, and you can see Chuck is trying to stay focused. He's not trying to let that anger overtake him, even though we're only about 4.5 minutes into this match, and he's already eaten 2 spears, 2 Momoan punches, and this may, kick out. I thought that was going to be it right there.
Oh, that's right, Sills. Chuck knows how to take Mamoa Curry's moveset as well, but honestly, I don't think he's experienced it firsthand.
What the hell is Chuck doing? Chuck has got a steel chair in this ring. And Tibbs, at this point, I don't think Chuck's caring about wrestling anymore as he sends Mamoa colliding with that steel. What the hell is he thinking?
No, Sills, Chuck, he's in the mindset of he wants to win the match. He thinks that winning the match will prove himself to Mamoa Curry, but Sills, that's not what this match is about. I think my boy's got a long way left to go, even as he's got that captain's hook cinched in.
That's right.
He's still got a lot to learn.
You can see Mamoa flailing, but honestly, I barely think Momoa's that panicked. And I think Chuck is. That's the worry. And he definitely should be panicked right now after Mamoa hits a third spear. 1, 2, 3. All right, looks like Chuck has more fight in him than we thought, but he has to stay focused. At this point in the match, if Chuck Tibbs, I mean, you got to think, Momoa's pissed. Look at him right now. He's bringing it to Chuck Tibbs because Chuck Tibbs violated the one rule of this match that Mamoa Curry wanted it to be pure, unadulterated wrestling. Two men, two animals focused on one another, trying to bring the victory to themselves, not focused on anything else. Oh, but unfortunately, Chuck is set up and Mamoa, wisely diving out of the way is Chuck. I think he was aware that might have ended it.
Oh, of course, Sills, you've got to know, if you are in the space that you can see the spear coming for you, got to do everything you can to get out of the way of that runaway freight train that is Mamoa Curry.
Whoa! Went for a pin off the DD Tibbs and Mamoa kicked out like it was nothing. And you saw that look on the face of Chuck. You saw the nervousness growing. You saw him start to lose focus. What the? Chuck going after Shibata. Chuck almost mimicking what happened at the end of the King of the Steel City match. Taking out Shibata, keeping him out of the match, and getting that steel chair and bashing Mamoa with it over the legs.
Sills, we've seen this. We just saw this in the match. With using Guy Fieri's tactics like that.
Wait a minute, Shibata, I think Chuck might have took a bad fall there. You can see him actually checking on Chuck at that point. I think Chuck may have an injury.
Sills, honestly, that...
And just exacerbating that is Mamoa Curry.
Mm-hmm. And Mamoa doesn't care about that. Mamoa is old school. You finish the fight. If you're the one that decides when you want to quit, when you're the one that's gonna quit, even if it is to your detriment. And Silv, I think this might be time for Chuck. Chuck is, like Mamoa Curry said, focused on the battle at hand, not the war.
That's right, Chuck. At this point, I think Chuck should be aware. Chuck should know when to stay down. But unfortunately, he is not. Oh, beautiful spine buster, and holds on for a pinfall. 1, 2, dude, kick out from Mamoa. But yeah, as I said, I think Chuck at this point, what the hell is he thinking now? What is Chuck doing? He's got his ankle. He's got his ankle locked up. And look at this, he's taking out Shibata again with a spear. Before, oh my God! Crunching that ankle, and look at Mamoa Curry. I think Chuck Tibbs, he has snapped. Something has snapped in Chuck Tibbs. He has lost that focus. He has forgot who he is, and he is just trying to win this by any means necessary.
This isn't it, Sills. This isn't how you try to win this kind of match. It doesn't matter if you win or lose after employing things like this, after trying to break the ankle of Mamoa Curry. He's already lost, Sills. Whatever happens after this doesn't matter. Chuck is already lost.
That's right. He has got Mamoa, though. You saw Mamoa going for that big power bomb. Instead, Chuck opted to bring the fire, bring the thunder. Beautiful heel kick. And I think things may be over for Chuck, but he's locked him in once again. But look at that. He's got Mamoa in the ropes. Chuck still looking a little bit weak. Chuck unable to get that tap. And I think that's the danger Chuck's in, is the fact that Tibbs, I'll be honest, I know you're a fan of your boy using your move, but I don't know if that's his move to use.
No, Sills, it's not. Like I said, Chuck has got to grow on his own. Right now, he's relying too much on the past. grow to become the future right now if that's all that he relies on.
Wait a minute. Chuck now just mocking Mamoa Curry in the corner. Could be going for a spear of his own. Goes for the pinfall. 1, 2. Ooh, kick out from Mamoa. And Chuck at this point is locking him in once again. But look at this. He's got Mamoa right by the ropes. Chuck is not focusing. Chuck is not considering what's going to happen in this match.
No, he's not thinking about it, Sills. He's trying to do as much damage as possible as he can to Mamoa Curry, but that is not what his focus should be on. He's not even thinking right now, and it's...
That's right, you see him just going after the legs, going after the knees of Mamoa, who just busts out of it. Oh! And once again hits that spear straight to the skull. I mean, straight to the knee. Knee to skull. Oh, and hits a cutter. Chuck at this point is just trying to end the career of Mamoa Curry. Chuck at this point says, I don't want to prove myself, but Mamoa hits a DDT. And Tibbs, I'll be honest, we've seen Mamoa in matches. We've seen Mamoa at full power, at 100%. This man's only using 50% right now against Chuck.
He is, Sills. If this was a championship match, Mamoa could have ran away with it easily. This is about more for Mamoa Curry. Mamoa Curry, who doesn't worry about championships, who only worries about leaving the JWF in good hands, and if this is any indication...
That's right, you see him backing up, going for that Momoan punch once again. Can he nail it? And he does! And you can see Chuck just flailing to the ground, his face bloodied. 1, 2, ooh, kicking out once again, but you can see Chuck's body just kind of flailing to the side. Chuck unable to really get anything going as Mamoa just picks him up, cradle him, beautiful power bomb. And I think Momoa's just trying to end it at this point, Tibbs.
I think so too, Sills. Momoa has seen all he needs to see.
No! DDT! A DDT! A beautiful reversal from Chuck, but no! Chuck! No! No! Trinity Bomb! Trinity Bomb! 2! Mamoa just kicked out of the Trinity Bomb, but you can see Chuck frantic, reversing it over into that Boston Crab, begging for a tap, but Mamoa gets out of it immediately. What the hell is Chuck Tibbs thinking?
He's not, Sills. That's the problem. You don't use a Trinity Bomb on somebody unless you're willing to do them in and completely cause irreparable damage, but because his heart, his will wasn't behind it, that wasn't a real Trinity Bomb. Sure, it had impact. It was heavy. He had the technique down perfectly, but that isn't something that puts people away like a real Trinity Bomb does. That's just the last gasp of a desperate man, Sills.
That's right. You can see Mamoa has him backed up. You can almost see a little bit of sorrow in the face of the god of the JWF. Disappointment as he levels him with a spear. And look at Mamoa just staring at the crowd. Disappointed. 2, 3. And Tibbs, your boy fought like hell. In the beginning, I'll be honest, I thought Chuck was going to run away with this. I thought he was going to be able to take out Mamoa Curry. But once he started to do things like use that chair, try to break the ankle, try to end the career with a Trinity Bomb, that's the moment Mamoa Curry got mad. That's the moment Mamoa Curry realized he had to turn it up to 100% and absolutely take out Chuck.
Well, Chuck, he lost his heart, Sills. He started out talking like he's been talking these last few weeks like he was going to prove himself to Mamoa Curry, but once he lost his heart, he lost the match.
That's right, Tibbs, but here he is, the gatekeeper of the JWF, the god of the JWF, and the winner of tonight's main event, Mamoa Curry. And Tibbs, I'll be honest, if I was Chuck, I'd be more grateful to this man than anybody else that he decided to make this non-title. I mean, if anything, that was a blessing from Mamoa Curry to leave that title on Chuck Tibbs.
I think Mamoa knew what he was doing, so Mamoa had very little doubt that he was going in victorious, and I think he would have been surprised if he'd lost, but not disappointed. But things just went more according to plan. Chuck did exactly as Mamoa predicted, and Sills, I will be the first to say it was a little disappointing.
That's right, a night of disappointments here in the JWF. Of course, we remember, of course, the Dylan beating Blake Tanner for that title. Of course, I know a disappointment. Many people thought Blake was actually going to be the one to dethrone him. Gozzie breaking the arm of Scottye Moore, but we can't ignore the positive tips. We can't ignore the VWO returning to dominance. Griffin Clouds becoming the king of the Steel City. The Rising Suns, our new JWF Tag Team Champions. And not to mention, Tibbs, we got ourselves a brand new JWF superstar in the form of the King of the Hill himself, Robert Hill.
That is true, Sills. The future does look bright for Robert Hill. And it looks bright for the victors, the Rising Suns, the new King of the Steel City, Griffin Clouds. We have some good things to look forward to in the future. And you'll have to see the fallout next week.
That's right. Tune in to JWF Monday Night Ignition. We got it on Spotify. We've got it on iTunes. Wherever you get your podcasts, search us up and you will find us there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually getting word that after the fallout from their match tonight, Danny Roanoke, the man who was unfortunately electrocuted earlier, is going to be back, and he is going to be speaking to Hollywood Hulcher. And from what I've heard, he's got a proposal for something that is absolutely historic in this company, Tibbs. And the only way to hear about it is going to be on JWF Monday Night Ignition.
Can't wait to hear it, Sills. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for the drinks. Let's have a nice summer party.
That's right. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, he's been Captain Tibbs. I've been Silver Spoon, and this has been the biggest shindig of the summer, Summerfest. And we will see you next time.